Literally. Pero again ha, theory lang ito siya guys. It was connected to mainland Asia. Now, ano ba yung ibig sabihin ng mainland Asia? That refers to kung saan ang China. So, connected daw tayo dyan noon. Okay? Connected, tingnan nyo. Ang mga theorists pa nga nagsabi na ang nakakonect sa Pilipinas to mainland Asia was Palawan. This part. Okay? This part siya ang connected. It was a landmass bridging the Asian continent to Indonesia, New Guinea, up until doon sa Australia. Diba? Imagine guys, if meron pa to ngayon, pwede kayo mag-lunch sa Pilipinas and then manihapon or mag-dinner sa Singapore. Wow! Magbaktas lang. Now, ano ba yung purpose daw ng mga land bridges? Ginamit ito for migration. Now, what do you mean by migration? Sige daw, anong meaning ng migration? Migration from the word migrate. So ito yung paglipat-lipat ng tao from one place to another. So nung nandun pa daw yung land bridge, kay nagbaktas lang. Walking lang ang mga tao para makapunta sila dito sa Pilipinas. Okay? Pero ang pinaka-clue talaga natin guys, no, if ever lalabas ito sa board exam, pag ang clue, the Philippines was once part of mainland Asia, what's the answer? Land bridge theory. Okay. So guys kahit hindi ko kayo naririnig, I hope you are answering aloud dyan, kung saan man kayo dyan sa Pilipinas. Kasi, if you say it aloud, the more you can remember it. Kasi sinabi mo na, no? Next theory, volcanic origin. Now, pag sinabing volcanic origin o volcanic origin from the word volcano. Okay ha? From the word volcano to siya. So ano ba yung ibig sabihin? Okay, sino ba ang proponent sa theory na to? Oh, yung nakasmile na ganun. Yung ganun. Sino ba yan? That's Dr. Bailey Willis. Now, ang theory ni Bailey Willis daw is naporma daw yung bansa natin, because of the eruption of volcanoes. Okay? Volcanoes where? Volcanoes underneath the Pacific Ocean. Pero wait muna. Wait. Mag ang Sokstad guys, no? Gen Ed Sokstad. Maraming trivia. So, may i-add ako na trivia. The Pacific Ocean, is this the biggest or smallest ocean in the world? It's the biggest ocean in the world. O, kung yan ang biggest ocean, what is the smallest ocean? That's Arctic. Sige, isulat ko ha. And I want you to write this down. Para maka-remember ta. Kasi again, Gen Ed guys is very trivia ang atake. Sige ha, wait lang. Yes, Pacific, it's biggest. Arctic is the smallest. Yes. Okay. Now, sabi daw niya, may mga bulkan sa ilalim ng Pacific Ocean wherein nung pumutok, boom, yung mga lumabas sa volcano, it helped form the Philippines. Okay? And in the first place pala, bakit maraming bulkan dito sa area natin? It's because we are on the Pacific Ring of Fire. So, ang Pacific Ring of Fire, kung ang bansa mo nasa Pacific Ring of Fire, ano ba yung possible effects nito? Maraming active volcanoes, di ba? Guys, tama ba? Marami bang active na volcano ang Pilipinas? Yes! Like, number 1, Mayon Volcano, Taal Volcano, sa pa, Canlaon in Negros, di ba? O bigla ka na lang makarinig ng balita na biglang nag-aalboruto yung mga bulkan, di ba? So very active. What else? Linugunon ba ang Pilipinas? Linugunon ba? Yes, we are very linugunon. In fact, no, may recent pa nga na, what do you call this? May recent pa nga na linog dito sa Cebu. Taga Cebu kasi ako, guys. Recent na earthquake last September 30. Yung sobrang lakas talaga. Then afterwards, dun naman sa Mindanao. That is the evidence na nasa Pacific Ring of Fire tayo. Arctic, malapit sa Antarctica, ma'am. No, sir. Malapit siya sa North Pole. Okay? Malapit po sa North Pole. Doon po sa taas, ang Arctic Ocean. Arctic Ocean. Yung sa Antarctica, medyo malapit sa Southern Ocean siya. Okay? Sige. So, ayun, Pacific Ring of Fire, maraming mga, as in guys, parang every minute or every day, meron talagang movement dito sa atin. Diba? So, kaya, keep safe. Sige, let's review. Ano ulit ang teorya ni Dr. Bailey Willis? Volcanic origin. Pag ang clue, Philippines was once part of mainland Asia? Land bridge theory. Okay, eto sila guys ha, scientific ang basis. Land bridge and volcanic are both scientific. But, pagdating natin dito sa ikatlo, first word pa lang, legend. Guys, totoo ba ang legends? No. Kwento-kwento lang yan. Pwede yan siya pinasa from your mga ninuno at pinasa sa inyo. Legend. Totoo lang. No? Legend of Mu or Lemuria. Now, iba naman ang nagkwento nito. This was by James Churchward. Now, ano bang sabi ni Uncle James? Sabi ni Uncle James ninyo guys, na ang Philippines daw, pati na rin ang Indonesia, was once part of a Pacific continent. Okay? Meaning to say, sa taas or sa ibabaw ng Pacific Ocean, may malaking continent daw dyan. Then, ang pangalan sa continent is Mu or Lemuria. Again, kwento lang to. Kwento niya to eh. Kwento ito ni James Churchward. Sabi daw niya na ito bansa natin, itong Philippines, was connected to Lemuria. And because nagmelt daw ang mga ice caps, kaya ayun, na-separate na tayo from Lemuria. Diba? Kwento niya yan eh. Pero, saan ba siya na inspired? Saan ba siya na-inspired sa, what do you call this? Kwento. Okay. Na-inspired siya sa kwento sa Atlantis, the lost continent of Atlantis. Guys, nakarinig na ba kayo sa kwento sa Atlantis? Sige daw. Ano, not Atlantic Ocean ha, Atlantis. Have you heard of it before? Okay. Oh wait, may nakita akong question dito. Apolaki Caldera active or not? No, it's not active. As far as I know ha, last time I read, dormant daw to siya, pero the biggest caldera in the world daw to, ang Apolaki Caldera. So, diha makita ang Biringan. Huy, Biringan, lahi na siya nga branch. O, Biringan sa Samar branch, char. Okay. Ang Atlantis, pero yes, ang story sa Biringan, guys, could be a bit similar to Atlantis. Kasi ang Atlantis is like a lost city daw, wherein ang mga tao sobrang advanced. Oh yes, there's even a Disney movie. My favorite, underrated kini nga Disney movie, guys, ang Lost City of Atlantis. Super. You might check. You might want to check. Yes. Like, super advanced daw kayo when it comes to electricity, technology, ayun. Si James Churchward na inspired siya doon. Pero ang difference lang is ito daw, here's an old map. Old legendary map lang to siya ha. Ang Atlantis nasa Atlantic Ocean. Mu or Lemuria is on the Pacific Ocean. Yun. Kana. Okay? Muna siya. So, ang point lang, difference lang is Atlantis is in Atlantic Ocean and Mu is on the Pacific Ocean. Alright? So again ha, let's review. Pag ang clue, the Philippines was once part of a Pacific continent, Legend of Mu or Lemuria. Good. Dr. Bailey Willis, volcanic origin. Philippines was once part of mainland Asia, land bridge theory. Okay. Lang tagal ko na hindi nakakita ng story about Area 51. I miss that. Oh, yun lang mga kinaguguluhan ko nung bata pa ako. Yung story sa Area 51, mga alien daw. So anyway, again, this is a legend only. Next, eto. Legend of, o bantay na mag-manual na, Legend of Manaul. Again, Manaul. Sige, try to guess. Eto si Manaul. Tao, bagay, hayop, lugar. Isa po siyang hayop. What hayop is he? Nakita kita sa picture. Oh. He's a bird. He is actually a very popular character from Bisaya folklore. Mga legends gani dito sa Visayas because he was the king who guided destinies. Meaning kung anong gusto niya, siyang masusunod. Kaya tinawag siya guys na cunning and resourceful. Kung sa Bisaya pa, mangtas. Okay? Mangtas siya, wais. Ito si Manaul. Because he manipulated the gods, Kaptan and Magawayan. Eto kasi guys, sa Bisaya folklore, marami tayong mga gods and goddesses. And dalawa sa mga gods doon ay sina Kaptan at Magawayan. Now, eto yung kwento. Feeling ko guys, no, na-chika na to siya na kwento nung elementary kayo. Oh, the story of Manaul. So I will tell the story para ma-refresh tayo. May iba kasi iba-ibang version, pero this is my version of the story na nabasa ko. Once upon a time, may isang agila. Ang pangalan niya ay si Manaul. Lipad siya ng lipad sa kawanangan. Lipad siya ng lipad, pero wala talaga siyang makikitang mapahingahan. Ang tagal-tagal na niya naglipad-lipad, maraming araw na, pero wala pa rin siyang makitang mapahingahan. No? So, puro lang dagat ang nakikita niya. Tubig lang talaga at langit. So sabi niya, pagod-pagod ko na. Gusto ko nang magpahinga. Pero wala akong lupang nakikita. So, what did he do next? Nakaganon si Manaol. Sige, pupunta ako sa langit. Maghingi ako ng tulong. So, lumipad siya. Pumunta siya sa langit. Sabi niya, langit, tulungan mo naman ako. Ang pagod-pagod ko na, kailangan ko nang magpahinga. Sabi ng langit, dire ko. No. Sabi niya, no, hindi kita tutulungan. So, ang next option ni Manaul, pumunta siya sa dagat. Humingi siya ng tulong sa dagat. Dagat, tulungan mo na ako. Pagod-pagod ko na. So, anong sabi ng dagat? No, hindi kita tutulungan. Kaya ayun, na-disappointed siya. Na-frustrated ang uncle ninyo guys. So, ano sinabi niya? Ang gagawin ko para makapahinga ako, ipag-away ko silang dalawa. Oh, di ba? So, basically, siya si Maui. Hoy! Pinag-away niya ang langit at dagat. So, ang langit, guys, hinampas niya ng bato. Ang dagat, hinampas niya. At ang dagat, hinampas niya rin ng tubig, pasaka, pataas, pataas, pataas. At sa sige nilang away, and because of their fight, ayon, nagresulta sa mga isla. And what was what is it? Diba, kinamdam mo guys? I have a feeling some version of this was told to you when you were elementary. That's the legend of Manaul. No? And ang nasa kwento, ang first daw na island na naporma because of the fight was Panay Island. Okay? Panay daw. Panay. Kanang yung nadarang Capiz, Roa City, o dyan. Iloilo, yan. So, Panay Island daw ang first na na-form. And finally, dahil sa kawais ni Manaul, nakapahinga na siya. Yes. And ayun, Kaptan bala, yan ang God of the Sky. Again ha, Kaptan is God of the Sky, while Magawayan is the God of the Sea. So, ayun. So, may iba kasi ibang version. Pero yan talaga ang popular version ng kwento. Yung pinag-away niya ang langit ug ang dagat. Kami na una ang Bisaya. Hoy, ha, basher. So, again ha, pag cunning and resourceful bird na pinag-away ang gods, that's Legend of Manaul. O so far guys, sa apat na teorya at kwento na nasabi ko sa inyo, san ba ang parang mas believable sa inyo na parang totoo talaga to siya, ma'am? Pag sinabi niyo, Manaul guys, no? Testing eh. Hoy, legend lang yan. Di yan totoo. Hmm. Oh, yes, that's right. Okay, pero guys, balik tayo sa scientific. And for me, ito yung pinaka-possible out of all, no? And it's the continental drift theory. The continental drift theory. It was proposed by a meteorologist named Alfred Wegener. Okay. Now, question sabi, ano ba yung study, ano ba yung pinag-aaralan ng isang meteorologist? Dili weather guys ha. Dili weather. Dili meteor guys ha. Meteorologist ha, dili meteor ang gistudihan. The meteorologist studies the weather patterns sa mundo. Okay? The meteorologist studies the weather of the world or weather sa atmosphere natin. So, ang proposal, ang nasa continental drift theory daw, was millions of years ago, 3 to 5 million years ago. Yung bansa natin, mga bansa natin guys, kumpul-kumpul yan. Sumpay-sumpay. No? Sumpay-sumpay. Take a look at the picture. So, sumpay-sumpay daw na connected daw tayong lahat through a supercontinent named Pangaea o Pangga, ambot lang. Kamo na bahala og basa na guys. Bakit reading board exam. Pero it's pronounced as Pangaea. So the supercontinent, eto na guys, this is supercontinent named Pangaea. And hindi po ito overnight pero hindi naman to ang mukha ng ating mundo ngayon, tama ba? No, it's not. Okay? This is not the face of our world today. Kasi ito na ang ating mundo ngayon. Tama ba? So, hindi po yan siya overnight nag-separate. It took millions of years daw to separate. Bakit, ma'am, bakit naisip to ni Alfred Wegener, the theory? What triggered him? Sige, let's find the continents first. 2 continents. Let's find Africa. Where is Africa? Africa, eto, this is Africa. Next, South America. Where's South America? Eto ang South America. Yan. Now, ano ba yung nakapatrigger niya? Napaisip kasi si Alfred Wegener na hala, pag itabi ang South America ug ang Africa, uy, parang puzzle pieces sila. Tingnan nyo guys, pag ilapit mo yung Africa and South America, di ba parang kadugtong sila? So nasa theory ni Alfred Wegener na hala, baka noong unang panahon, connected yan sila. And there were flora and fauna, meaning plants and animals, na makikita dito and makikita rin dito sa Africa, dito sa gilid. So there's a possibility na baka noon connected yan sila. Okay? So that is continental drift theory. Nagets ba natin? Yan po ang ating mga teorya. Diba? Very interesting. Guys, naintindihan nyo ba? At bakit hindi? Let's review, everybody. Sige. I'll give a clue. Tell me which legend or theory ba ito. When I say Alfred Wegener, continental drift theory. Dr. Bailey Willis, volcanic origin. Correct. Philippines was once part of mainland Asia. That's Land bridge theory. Correct. Good. Next, how about ang gumawa ng Legend of Mu or Lemuria? Sino yon? James Churchward. Sino ba yung legendary bird na pinag-away ang mga gods and goddesses? Gods lang pala. Si Manaul. O, ano ba yung tawag sa supercontinent ni Wegener? Continental drift theory. Okay, very good. Sige. Next, we're done with geographical location. Let's go to peopling of islands. Now, peopling of islands, kung kanina we talked about how the Philippines was made, how the islands were made, dito na tayo sa peopling of the islands. Paano ba nagkaroon ng tao dito sa mundo? That's it. Okay? Mundo. Mundo at sa Pilipinas especially. So, we have 4. Number 1, creation theory, migration theory, evolution theory, and Sikalak and Sibkahay. Repeat. Kibala ko, nakakabulol. Sikalak and Shablala. Sikalak and Sibkahay. So let's begin with the first theory. Creation theory. So, actually, ang creation story, guys, or the creation theory, from the word create, how the world was made to. Pero ang last kasi na na-create in this story were the first man and woman. And this is considered a biblical account. Now, ano ba yung sabihin ng biblical? Bible. From the Bible, what religion? Christianity. Okay? So from the story, mga Christians dito, saan ba natin, which book of the Bible can we find the creation story? We can find it sa Genesis. Okay? So in the book of Genesis, you will learn about the creation story. To be specific, Genesis chapter 1 verses 1 to 31, how the earth was made. And I think mali dyan na sa handouts nyo, pero correct lang ha. Ito, ang correct na nandito sa slide. Genesis chapter 2 verses 4 to 25, ang first man and woman. Now, sino ba ang first man and woman according to the Bible? That's Adam and Eve. Okay, si Adam at saka si Eve. Now, question, wala sa handouts nyo. According to the creation story, saan ba daw nakatira sina Adam and Eve? Nakatira sila or tumira sila sa Garden of, dili, Island Garden of Samal ha. Garden of Eden. Okay? Garden of Eden. That's where they lived, 'di ba? And ayun, na-kick out sila sa bahay ni Kuya. Sa Garden of Eden because nakakain sila ng mansanas. Na sinabi na bawal kakainin, ayun kinain niya, ayun na-kick out sila. Okay? So that's creation theory, biblical account. So from the Christian Bible ang tinutukoy dito. Okay, next, eto na tayo. Ito yung pinakamahalaga. Migration versus evolution theory. Dito tayo mag-focus ha. Eto kasing dalawa, this is both scientific. Migration versus evolution theory. Pero bago ako mag-discuss sa migration versus evolution, ipakita ko muna sa inyo sino ang nag-propose nito. Sino nag-sulat. It was this guy and this guy. Kung tatanungin ko kayo, sino ang mas believable? Like, kung kanang sa ngayon, kung madilim ang kuweba, tapos sila ang makikita mo, sino ang susundin nyo? Sige daw. Sino ang susundin nyo? Ang nasa left or yung nasa right? Kung ang left, bakit ang left ang susundin nyo? Kasi black and white. Kasi para lolo ninyo. Sabi ba nga, ma'am, sa left lang may ma'am, kay yung nasa right parang tig-Xerox copier, tigbantay sa Xerox copier. Ay, nako. Oh. So, again, let's take a look at them. Let's get to know them. Mm. Right, kay hayag daw. Oh, let's get to know them ha. Yung nasa left, that is Henry Otley Bayer. That's not Bayer ha. That's not Bayer, that's Bayer. Henry Otley Bayer. Siya po yung proponent sa migration theory natin. While yung nasa right, that's the Felipe Landa Hocano, the proponent for the evolution theory. Okay? So again ha, sino ang proponent sa migration theory? Henry Otley Bayer. Pag evolution theory, sino ang proponent? Felipe Landa Hocano. Now, let's get to know Henry Otley Bayer. Oh, guys, Henry Otley Bayer. Afam or Pinoy? Afam or Pinoy? Afam. Uy, pangalan palang daan guys. So, ilong palang daan. Very Afam. He was the proponent of migration theory and also considered as the father of Philippine anthropology. Okay? Sige, isulat niyo yan. Wala yan sa handouts niyo. Write it down. Henry Otley Bayer was known or is known as the father of Philippine anthropology. Now, ano ba yung ibig sabihin ng anthropology? Anthropology, guys, that means this, ang simple lang ha, there is still a longer definition for this. Pero ang simple lang talaga is the study of culture. Okay, when you say anthropology, that's the study of culture. Kumbaga, here is the father of the study of Philippine culture. Hala ma'am, afam man siya. Bakit ba siya ang naging father of Philippine anthropology? Di pa pwede Pinoy? Ganito kasi yan, guys. When he was in his 20s, taga-Amerika siya, he fell in love with our culture. No? Nagustuhan niya talaga yung kultura ng Pilipino. So what did he do? Nag-literal migration talaga siya. He moved from America to the Philippines to live here and study our culture. Kaya he lived here hanggang sa namatay siya. 'Di ba? So, marami talaga siyang kontribusyon sa pag-aaral ng ating kultura. So, actually guys, no, kung hindi talaga ako naging teacher, ang pinakagusto ko talaga na trabaho is to become an anthropologist. Like legit, no? Noon pa lang. Gusto ko talaga yan. So, I would say I'm a frustrated anthropologist. Gusto ko mag-aral talaga. So, ayun, sawi siya for so many years. But fortunately, guys, like 2 years ago, I started studying anthropology na talaga. Yung Masters of Arts in Anthropology. Like, super duper makabuang siya. Makabuang siya, but I am really having fun. Kaya guys, no, it's really important nga someday, I hope you can achieve your dreams. Like, wag na wag nyo talaga i-close yung dreams ninyo. Kung let's say, hindi nyo talaga dream ang maging teacher, like iba ang dreams ninyo, like maybe someday you will be given a chance to return to that dream. Pero for now, let's do our best sa path natin ngayon. Okay? Or just like me. Like ngayon guys, like one sem na lang ko, mag-thesis na lang ko, and I'm done. I'm done. I can finally be an anthropologist. Ay, nako. So anyway, going back, ni Bayer, Henry Otley Bayer, he proposed the migration theory. Now, from the name itself, migrate. So he theorized na wala daw tao dito sa ating bansa noon. Like, no, nothing, nada. Na meron lang mga tao mula sa ibang bansa na unti-unting pumunta dito sa ating bansa. Like, hinay-hinay sila nag-occupy sa ating bansa. No? And they came in different waves of migration. Meaning, wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4 daw sila. And again, 4 to siya ha. Mnemonics natin is, isulat nyo, daim. Again, isulat nyo, daim. Now, what's the meaning of daim? Daim as in Donman, Aitas or Negritos, Indonesians, and Malays. Okay, one more time. Mnemonics, Donmen, Aitas or Negritos, Indonesians, and Malays. Pero wait, paano ba ito tinanong sa board exam? Ganito siya. Listen carefully. Mnemonics natin, Daim. Daim, Donmen, Aitas or Negritos, Indonesians, or Malays. Okay. Now, according to Bayer, iba-iba ang kanilang pamamaraan sa pagpasok dito sa ating bansa. Ang Donmen at saka Aitas, ang pagpasok nila is via land bridges. While yung Indonesians at Malays naman, they entered via boats. So how is this asked in the board exam? Listen carefully ha. Who were the first ones to arrive by boats? Pag boats, Indonesians. Okay? Pag ang tanong, last ones to arrive by land bridges, Aitas or Negritos. First ones to arrive by land bridges, Donmen. Okay? Sige, one last time, be. Mnemonics sa migration theory. Daim. O, sige, ano ang Daim? Donmen, Aitas or Negritos, Indonesians, and Malays. Alright. So, who were the last ones to arrive by boats? Malays. First ones to arrive by land bridges? Donmen. Very good. Now, for so many decades, eto talaga yung tinanggap na fact. Marami talagang textbooks, guys. Even textbooks ngayon, eto pa rin yung nakasulat na fact. No? Na ang paano daw dumating ang mga tao, they arrived by waves. But this has long been disproven. Meaning mali daw ang migration theory because merong bagong theory. O sino ba yung nag-disagree ni Bayer, guys? Walang iba kundi ang kabilang angkol. Si Felipe Landa Hocano. Okay? Felipe Landa Hocano. His theory, you might say, alam ma'am, di ba evolution, Charles Darwin, meron na siya sariling evolution theory. Evolution theory or known as the core population theory. Sabi niya, way before the dawn men, meron na daw mga tao dito. Ang nangyari lang is nag-evolve daw. O di ba from the term evolution. Matagal na merong tao, nag-evolve lang. Now, what was his proof? Bakit ba, paano niya nasabi na mali si Bayer? Because may na-discover doon sa Palawan. And I have a feeling, guys, na-discuss na to sa inyo, sa atin, when we were elementary. It starts with letter T. Very familiar kay itong na name. Na-discover doon sa Tabon Cave. Okay? In the Tabon Cave, na-discover yung skull cap ng Tabon Man. Now, when you say skull cap, nandito siya. Dito. Bungo. Dito na part sa bungo. Dito, sa may forehead. So, nakita kasi, nung na-test nila ang Tabon Man, through radiocarbon dating, yan kasi yung paraan, guys, para malaman yung edad ng isang, let's say, kalansay. No? You will know how old is it. Now, nalaman nila na mas matanda pa ito, mas luma pa to siya than the Dawn Men. Pero, si Hocano ba ang nakahukay? No. Okay? Ang nakahukay po ay sina Robert Fox and Manuel Santiago. Okay? So, kumbaga, ang nagawa lang ng theory about it was Hocano. Pero ang nakahukay talaga, yung pumunta talaga sa kuweba at naghukay, that was Robert Fox and Manuel Santiago. Okay? Sige be, let's review. One more time, everybody. Sino ba yung proponent sa migration theory? Henry Otley Bayer. Sino ang proponent sa evolution theory or core population theory? Felipe Landa Hokano. Correct. Now, si Hokano ba ang nakahukay sa Tabon Man? No. Kasi ang nakahukay ay sina Robert Fox and Manuel Santiago. Now guys, gusto niyo ba makita sina Robert Fox and Manuel Santiago? Robert Fox at yung mga kalansay? Eto pala guys si Robert Fox. So, Tabon Caves, it's actually mga 3 or 4 hours from Puerto Princesa, dun to sa Palawan. And parang nearer siya sa West Philippine Sea na side. Actually, if gusto niyo pupunta doon, may tour, may National Museum doon. Pwede kayo ma-tour sa loob ng kuweba for free. Sayang talaga guys. I went to Palawan last year, pero wala, naubusan kami ng oras. Hindi ako nakapunta dito. But I really, really want to. Someday. So nahukay dyan ni Robert Fox at Manuel Santiago yung, what do you call this? Tabon Man. And also, that famous jar na nasa likod ng 1,000. O ano nga, lumang 1,000 ha? Yung jar. Yung baul ba na? Sa Tagalog. Basta vase. Jar. Yung manunggul jar. If you are familiar with the manunggul jar, guys, it was also discovered inside the Tabon Caves. Okay? So, ganun kahalaga talaga ang Tabon Caves sa ating anthropology at archaeology as well. Now, gusto niyo ba makita yung Tabon Man? Gusto niyo ba makita? May picture ako. Like, ako talaga nag-picture. Gusto niyo makita? Eto siya. Tutukan ang picture ha. Tutuki. Baka kasi mamali kayo. Sige. Tutok. 1, 2, 3. Go. Hindi yang naka-headband ha. Hindi po yan ang Tabon Man. This is the Tabon Man skull cap. Ayun. Hindi po yung nakabangs. No. Eto. That's the Tabon Man skull cap. And you can find this right now sa National Museum of Anthropology dyan sa Maynila. If meron tayong mga students dyan sa Maynila, sige, puntahan nyo ang National Museum of Anthropology. I think nasa 2nd floor or 3rd floor ba to siya? I'm not sure. Check. Better check saan. Yeah. Or next time, kung mga taga Visayas, Mindanao, pupunta kayo ng Maynila, don't forget to go to the National Museum of Anthropology. Makikita nyo doon yung manunggul jar and this one as well. The Tabon Man skull cap. Diba? Amazing. Okay, so yan po ang ating migration versus evolution theory and also creation theory. Next, let's go to Sikalak and Sibkahay, or in other books, Sikabay. Okay, Sikalak and Sibkahay or Sikabay. Now, anong kwento nito, ma'am? Guys, eto yung version sa Bisaya sa first man and woman. Okay? First man and woman in Bisaya folklore. So, what's the story here? Parang sequel lang to siya sa Legend of Manaul. Parang sequel. How? 'Di ba? Meron ng isla. May tumubo na kawayan. Dumating yung main character ninyo guys. O 'di ba? Tinuka niya or biniyak niya gamit ang kanyang beak ang kawayan. Kuk. And ayun, nabiyak ang kawayan. And ayun, lumabas ang first man and woman na sina Sikalak at Sibkahay. Mga Bisaya dito, are you familiar with the phrase, anak sa liking kawayan? Have you heard of that? If you have heard of that, anak sa liking kawayan, that stems from this folklore. Diyan nagsimula ang saying na yan, ang anak sa liking kawayan. No, from the story of Sikalak and Sibkahay or Sikabay. Kung sa Tagalog guys, this is their malakas at maganda. No? Legend of the Blue Sea. Hoy, si Legend of the Blue Sea. Guys, that is anak sa liking kawayan mula sa kwento ng nina Sikalak and Sibkahay. So, after sa fight nila sa sky and dagat, si Manaol, gibiyak niya. So, this is the first man and woman. Yes. Now, bakit Sikalak and Sibkahay? Tingnan niyo ang pangalan guys. Sikalak, laki. Ha? Hoy, Ma'am Mary Hill, giingnan kasi mama nga anak ka sa liking kawayan. Hoy! Oh, guys, ano ba ibig sabihin basta anak sa liking kawayan? Walang parents. Oh my gosh. So no. Kawawa ka naman, ma'am. Oh. So ayun lak 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 sikalak laki lak laki. Sibkahay or sikabay bayi. So laki ug bayi. Sikalak laki, sikabay bayi. Oh, kana the first man and woman. 'Di ba? Amazing kaya itong story, guys, no? Sige be. Oh, there's still so much to talk about sa Philippine history. And don't worry, we still have 3 hours left to go. Sige, review sa ta. One more time. Si Paksiw, anak sa liking kawayan. Uy, Bisaya mo na sa una, ano? Paksiw, irong buang. Review ta, be. Sige. When I say biblical account, what's that? Creation theory. Pag ang proponent si Henry Otley Beyer, migration theory. Good. Pag evolution theory, ano ulit ang na-discover dun sa Palawan? The Tabon Man skull cap. Pero sino nakahukay? Robert Fox and Manuel Santiago. If it tells about the story of the first man and woman sa Bisaya folklore, Sikalak and Sibkahay. Okay, one last time, geographical location. What theory ang nagsabi the Philippines was once part of mainland Asia? Land bridge theory. Sino ang proponent sa volcanic origin? Dr. Bailey Willis. That's right. Sino naman ang nagsulat nung Legend of Mu or Lemuria? James Churchward. Sino ba yung legendary bird na pinag-away ang langit at ang dagat? Manaol. And finally, sino ang proponent sa continental bridge theory? Continental drift theory? That's Alfred Wegener. And sabi niya, parte daw tayo sa supercontinent na tawag ay Pangea. Okay, sige guys, time check. It's 6:57 p.m. Bago ako mag-continue sa next topic, bigyan ko muna kayo ng 5-minute break. Okay, 5-minute break bago tayo mag-continue. Okay, balik na po tayo sa ating mga upuan. Balik na po tayo mga mukha natin sa harap ng ating mga cellphone, mga smart TV, or kung ano ba meron nyo dyan, ano bang ginagamit mo. So, let's review. Sige ba, everybody inhale. Exhale. Woo. Inhale. Exhale. Okay. So guys, we're done with the theories on how the Philippines was formed through the geographical location, through the peopling of islands. But now, let's talk about archipelagos names. Sige, matanong nga. Um, ano ba yung pangalan or official name ng ating bansa today? Again, ha? What is the official name of our country today? The official name is Republic of the Philippines. Okay? Republic of the Philippines po ang official name natin. Pero, bakit ba? Bakit ba naging ganun? It took us a long time bago tayo naging Republic of the Philippines. Okay? Unahin muna natin sa mga early names natin, which was, yung pinakauna nasa table, it's Mai. O, repeat after me. Mai. Again, Mai. Sino ba yung nagpangalan nito? Yung mga early Chinese traders. Ha? You mean to say, ma'am, nakarating na rito yung mga Chinese sa noon pa? Yes, alam niyo ba guys, the Chinese are our oldest murag ka-trade. No? It's not the Spanish, it's not the Americans. Ang pinakaluma talaga are the Chinese, ang ka-trade natin. Bago pa yan sila dumating. Kaya, itong mga early Chinese traders, dumating ito sila, noon ba yan sila? Pumunta sila dito sa ating mga isla, they named us Mai. Pero wait, hindi pala yung buong bansa ang tinutukoy nila. They were just referring to one island. Okay? And what island was this? It's actually just Mindoro. Okay? Ang gina-refer lang pala ng mga early Chinese traders ay ang Mindoro. So, noon, ang tawag Mai, pero now, it's called Mindoro. So, early Chinese traders. Now, ma'am, how did it become like that? Bakit ba ang Mai naging Mindoro? So, when the Espanyol arrived in Mindoro, they called the place, "Oy, hala, ang dami palang mga gold sa lugar na to. O maraming oro." Oro, in Spanish kasi, oro means gold. So, tinawag nila ito as Mina de Oro. And later on, it combined and became Mindoro. Diba? That's the story of how it came to be. From Mai to Mindoro. Alright? Sige, one more time ha. Pag sinabing early Chinese traders, that's Mai. Now, ano ba yung tinutukoy sa Mai? Mindoro. Okay. So guys, maraming mga explorer na dumating dito sa atin, no? Maraming marami. From the Espanyol to the Americano to the Japanese. But unahin muna natin yung pinakauna talagang dumating na AFAM sa atin. And sino ba ito? Sino ba yung uncle nyo? Si Ferdinand Magellan. Yes. So, si Ferdinand Magellan, guys, so later on, mag-discuss tayo more in detail sa kanya. Nung dumating siya dito sa ating bansa, pinangalanan tayo ng Islas de San Lazaro. Okay? Islas de San Lazaro or Archipelago of Saint Lazarus. Now, sa lahat ng mga santos, bakit si San Lazaro ang kanyang pinangalan? Bakit San Lazarus or bakit ba Saint Lazarus? Bakit hindi Santo Niño? Bakit hindi Santo Domingo? San Pablo, nga naman. It's because, guys, when na-sighted niya or na-sightingan niya ang atong country, it was the feast day of Ferdinand Magellan. It was the feast day of San Lazaro. Again ha, pinangalan tayo na Archipelago de San Lazaro or Islas de San Lazaro because nung nakita tayo, it was the feast day of San Lazaro. Gets natin? O, di ba? Namista inyong uncle. So, Ferdinand Magellan, Islas de San Lazaro. Now, question. Nabuhay ba si Magellan? Nabuhay ba si Magellan pagkatapos ng pagpunta niya rito? Nabuhay na deads. Na deads. So, alam naman natin, na deads saan? Sa Mactan. Pero again, our story for that, we'll discuss later. So, na deads siya. Pero kahit na deads siya, nalaman ng Espanyol na na-dead siya, nagpadala pa rin ang Espanyol ng maraming tao papunta rito. Ang sumunod dito guys ay si Ruy Lopez de Villalobos. So, Ruy Lopez de Villalobos, siya po yung nagpangalan ng Filipinas or Islas de Filipinas. At yan po yung pinagbasehan ng ating pangalan ngayon. Yung Philippines, it was based on the name Filipinas, Ruy Lopez de Villalobos. Why? In honor of the Prince Philip of Asturias. Only Asturias Cebu ha. Prince Philip of Asturias. So ayun, in honor kasi na-happy talaga siya guys nung dumating si Villalobos dito na tinanggap talaga siya ng mga tao. So ayun, Filipinas. Okay. So, later on, nung dumating nakapasok na talaga ng Espanyol dito, maraming mga nicknames ang nabigay sa atin. Like number 1, yung Pearl of the Orient. At pinangalan nito ni Father Juan J. Delgado. Now, what do you mean by Pearl of the Orient? Diba guys, yung pearl is something precious. And Orient, that's an old way of saying the East. Okay? Pag sinabing Orient, that means the East. Diba guys, may sinabi tayong Negros Oriental, Davao Oriental, that means East. Diba? Eastern Negros, Eastern Davao, o yun. Ang opposite, that is what? The opposite is Occidental. Okay? Occidental. Sige. Review tayo ha. Wait lang guys ha. Sige. Alright. Sige. Wait a moment. Let's review one more time guys. Pag sinabing Pearl of the Orient, sino po ang nagsabi nito? Si Father Juan J. Delgado. Very good. Next, pag sinabing Ruy Lopez de Villalobos, that's Filipinas. Okay. Next, wait a moment. Pag Islas de San Lazaro, Ferdinand Magellan. Pag early Chinese traders, that's Mai. Very good. Sige. Everybody inhale. Exhale. O curse. Wait lang. Wait lang guys ha. Kaya may nag-chat sa akin. Wait. Okay. Sige, something important kasi ito. Okay. So, let's review. Alright. May nag-question dito. Saguhon pa ang year, ma'am. Guys, ito ha. Parang tip ko kasi ka-feel ko na-intimidate na kayo sa mga petsa, no? Sa in the next pages. Unahan ko muna lang kayo. I really want you to prioritize memorizing how the events happened. Like, ano yung pagkasunod-sunod ng events. Pero, least priority ang pag-memorize sa date. Pero hindi ko sinabihan na huwag i-memorize least priority. Need pa rin i-memorize. I-priority how it happened. Like, ano ba yung first, next, at last na nangyari. Okay? Sige, next. We have Pearl of the Orient, diba? Father Juan J. Delgado. Next, kilala niyo to. Ang sunod. Ang pinakagwapo sa tanang gwapo ng Pilipinas. Ang pinaka-red flag sa buong kasaysayan ng Pilipinas, guys. That is, of course, si J. Riz. Si J. Riz or si Dr. Jose Rizal. Dr. Jose Rizal, he named as what? Or nicknamed as what? With what? Pearl of the Orient Seas. Okay. Pearl of the Orient Seas. So, kang Father Juan J. Delgado, that's Pearl of the Orient. Now, kanisi Rizal, he named as Pearl of the Orient Seas. Okay? Now, nakalagay dyan, 1896. Now, the year 1896, is that the year na namatay si Rizal? or nabuhi si Rizal? Napanganak si Rizal or nabuhi si Rizal? Namatay. Okay, 1896. Di ba naka-Rizal na kayo na subject? Tama ba? Hmm. So, fresh pa ito sa utak ninyo ha? What was the what was the last poem of Rizal? Ano ba yung last na sinulat niya bago siya pinatay ng Espanyol? Ang last tula niya kay wala pa nakabayad 300 si Titay. Huy. Oh, kamo ba sure kay mo? Mi ultimo adios or my last farewell. Okay. So nandun sa first stanza ng kanyang poem nakasulat, yung Pearl of the Orient Seas. Sabi doon, adios patria adorada, región del sol querida, perla del mar de Oriente, nuestro perdido Edén. A darte voy alegre, la triste, nuestra vida. Y fuera más brillante, más fresca, más florida, también por ti la diera por tu bien. Char! Wow! Ano yung sabihin nun? Oh. Pero anyway guys, sa second line, we have Perla del Mar de Oriente. In English, that means Pearl of the Orient Seas. So, si Rizal, in this stanza, he was saying farewell to our country. Okay? Describe niya as a very beautiful country daw. Región del Sol querida. Región del Sol querida. The region wherein the sun loves us. Parang ganun, if I'm correct in translating. No? And sabi niya, no matter how many times tayo, or how many times daw siya papatayin, or bigyan siya ng chance nga mabuhi or mabuhay, he will always give it up for the Philippines. Diba? O, adios imnida. Uy. O kayo guys, willing ba kayo magpakamatay para sa Pilipinas? No. Unahan lang ang kontraktor. Okay, so that is Rizal in 1896. Now, Espanyol ba ang una dyan na dumating sa atin, no? Now, who was the one who came next? Ang sumunod po ang mga Amerikano. Now, the Americans named us, not Philippine Island ha, I think ang nasa handouts nyo is Philippine Island. Philippine Islands, plural. American Islands, and we were named that way by the American government. Sige, question. How many islands do we have in the Philippines? We have 7. I-type ko dai. I-type ko guys. Nasabi ko dai no kay kani kung tanaw ka ng mga reels ni Cindy 5 guys. For today's video dai. Char. Okay, islands in the Philippines. Yan. Wag niyo na akong tanungin kung high tide, low tide. Ay na. Pero if ang tanong, ito, lumabas ito sa board exam, guys. How many out of the 7,000 plus islands, how many daw ang inhabited? When you say inhabited, how many daw ang merong tao? Only around 2,000. Okay? Only around 2,000 islands. Okay. Sige, again ha. Isulat ko. Around 2,000 inhabited. So imagine ha, mga 5K plus, wala pang tao guys. Imagine, dami, di ba? So that's it. Philippine Islands by the American government. Pero guys, umalis din naman eventually yung mga Amerikano. Umalis ang mga Espanyol. Umalis rin ang mga Hapon. That's when we finally had the name Republic of the Philippines. Okay ha? In 1946, nung umalis na ang mga Hapon, Amerikano, Espanyol, we finally had the name Republic of the Philippines. Sige, question. Lumabas na sa board exam. Kailan? Oh, ay, ang mga tao, no? Basta makarinig ng kailan. Oh! Sige lang, laban lang. Kailan ba raw tayo nagrantan ng complete independence? Sige, again. When were we granted complete independence? Sige, isulat nyo dyan sa handouts nyo. That's July 4, 1946. Again ha, July 4, 1946. Pero, pag ang tanong, kailan ba daw tayo na-declarean ng independence? Wait, let me paraphrase. Ano ba yung Independence Day na sineselebrate natin ngayon? Ngayon. Like today. What date are we celebrating? June 12, 1898. Hala, so ma'am, kung ito ang complete independence, bakit June 12? Sige lang. That will be discussed when we get to the Philippine presidents. I'll get into that later. Pero isa-isahin muna natin para hindi ma-overwhelmed, no? So the June 12, 1898, that was the Independence Day declared by Aguinaldo. Okay? Aguinaldo declared the June 12, 1898 Independence Day. Alright, sige. Write that down. Wala yan sa handouts nyo. Okay, sige, let's review. Noong umalis na ang Amerikano, Hapon, Espanyol, what was our name until today? June 12, Republic of the Philippines. When were we declared, or when was it na-declare ang complete independence? July 4, 1946. Pero if ang question, when did Aguinaldo declare independence? June 12, 1898. Okay. So, next. Marami pa talagang mga proposal sa mga pangalan natin, no? Eto. Proposal ito ni Artemio Ricarte. So, ano ba yung proposal ni Artemio Ricarte? He was one of the generals, no, during the Spanish War, Filipino-Spanish War, or Spanish-American War, or the Philippine-American War. Si Artemio Ricarte, guys, he named us, kasi recently lang namatay si Rizal at this moment. He proposed that our name should be Rizalin Republic in honor of Jose Rizal. Di ba? Kung natuloy ito siya, guys, ang Rizalin Republic, anong tawag natin? Sige. Unsay tawag na to, guys, kung natinuod ni ang Rizalin Republic? Rizalianators? Rizalistas? Rizalian? Uy. Rizalianatics? Uy. Ay, nako. Basta, Artemio Ricarte, Rizalin Republic ang kanyang proposal. Mayroon po, wala na dayon. Pero ang pinaka-recent na proposal, o kayo guys, kung ipapropose kayo, ano kaya ang pangalan natin? Mga, Encantadia? Avisala? Ay! Sa inyohang Rizalisem? Rizalonos? Rizalissimissime nida. Huy! Ha? Reptilian? Murag kulbaan lagi ko ano yung mga proposal ba? Red Flag Republic? Rizalianis? Rizalites? Kuyog sa Opalites? Oy, kamo ha. So, anyway, maraming mga proposal, di ba? Pero ano yung pinaka-recent nga proposal? This was proposed during the time of, sino yan? Marcos Sr. Okay? This was proposed by, dili si Marcos Sr. mismo ha, it was during the administration of Marcos Sr. So, ano ba yung na-propose niya? 'Di ba? Ito yung sinasabi niyo sa seatmate niyo sa review center. Maharlika. Hoy, Maharlika. Ah. Hi, it's Maharlika. Oh, BBM Republic daw. Hoy. Kamo ha. BBM Republic. So, ano siya? Atong archipelagos names. So, imagine from Mai, naging Republic of the Philippines na tayo. Sige, Bel, let's review before tayo pupunta sa pre-colonial Philippines. Review ta. Pag early Chinese traders, Mai. Islas de San Lazaro, Ferdinand Magellan. Filipinas, Ruy Lopez de Villalobos. Father Juan J. Delgado, Pearl of the Orient. How about Pearl of the Orient Seas? Dr. Jose Rizal. How about ang pangalan natin under the Americans? Philippine Islands. How about today? Republic of the Philippines. Now, when were we declared complete independence? July 4, 1946. Gideclare ni Aguinaldo atong independence? June 12, 1898. Pag Artemio Ricarte, Rizalin Republic. Panahon ni Marcos Sr., Maharlika. Everybody inhale. Exhale. Uy, page 1 pa to ha. Page 1, page 2. Oh, first 2 pages pa lang yun. So ano ba? Laban pa ba tayo? Oh. May natutunan ba tayo, guys? If maipa ang nadayon, kay mais ato ang nationality. Uy. Pwede po. Siguro, Sir Edmar, no? Kung maito, mais siguro ang tawag na to. Alright, so let's talk about pre-colonial Philippines. Now, what do you mean by pre-colonial? Pre, as in before. Colonial, mga mananakop. In other words, when you say pre-colonial, that means before the Espanyol arrived. Okay, before the Espanyol arrived. Now, question, do you agree? Wait lang. Sir, diin halin ang Republic of the Philippines nga ma'am. It started when we got our independence na, 1946. So, anyway, going back. Ngayon, delayed kasi yung mga chat nyo guys. So, medyo late kung ma-answer. Okay? So, anyway, here's my question. Do you agree na we already had a culture way before dumating ang Espanyol? Like, before pa talaga sila dumating, may kultura na tayo. Yes or no? Or, do you agree na ang Espanyol ang nagbigay sa atin ng kultura? Guys, even before, misconception talaga yan pag sasabihin natin na the Espanyol gave us our culture. In fact, it's what? Long before them pa, meron na tayong kultura. Meron na nga tayong form of government. Okay? So, here's a question sa board exam. What is the pre-colonial political unit? What's the pre-colonial political unit? That's, answer is barangay. And yan po ang tawag sa parang grupo wherein there are 30 to 100 families per barangay. Diba? Pero may ibang answer nito sa sa question sa board exam. What is the basic unit of government in the Philippines? Barangay pa rin, guys. Okay? Here's a question. a few years ago kasi, nung nag-review pa ako, na-scam ako nito, guys. Malapit na ang board exam and we were having a quiz sa loob ng review center. Ang lecturer ko pa noon ay si Sir Gian. 'Di ba? Tagal-tagal ko na, guys. Tagal-tagal na rin ni Sir Gian. Ano na siya, ancient, pre-colonial si Sir Gian. Ako kay mga Spanish period. If kilala niyo si Sir Gian. Oh, anyway, si Sir Gian, yung mga senior lecturers, guys, na if na-meet na ninyo, like sila Sir Froy, sila Ma'am Marlene, sino pa, Sir James, Ma'am Graciel, Sir Brian, mga teachers ko pa yan sila noon. So, yung teacher ko, 6 years ago, was, Sir Gian, Soxtad. And, nag-quiz kami noon, first question, and I think lumabas din ito sa board exam. What is the basic unit of government in the Philippines? Guys, kahit hindi ko pa nakita ang choices, alam ko the answer is barangay. I really know. Oh, so, ayun, matik na. Barangay. At pumunta na ako sa number 2. Nung pumunta na ako sa number 2, na-distracted ako sa letter C sa number 1. Ang letter C sa number 1 pa, Judy, ay, kay, purok. Ang Rebecca nag-overthink. Guys, kung grabe kayo mo mag-overthink, sus, wag. Masisira ang buhay niyo. Nag-overthink ko, guys. Kay ni Ana mag-basic. Di ba? Basic. Ay! Oh, basic. Basic. Kung yung basic gamay. Yung gamay. Gamay man ang purok. So, purok ginagan, sir. So, kung usay kabuang akong gibuhat, I erased my answer. I changed it to purok. And I was so proud pa sa akong self. Ni Ana pa ko. Like, ako ra ang nag-answer og purok. O, ikaw na dyan, day. O, di ba? Testing. Ayun. Nag-exchange papers namin. Nag-exchange papers namin. O, exchange paper, clockwise. Wah! Check na yun. Sabi ni Sir Gian, alam nyo na, ang number 1, alam nyo na ang answer number 1. Everybody, what's the answer? Sabi lahat ng mga classmate ko, barangay! Ako, guys, sinabi ko, purok! Kaladay! Kaulaw! Gingnan ko si Sir Gian, pataka lang ka, ma'am! Na. Oh. What's the lesson here? Usually, your first instinct answer, that is the correct answer. I'm not saying all the time, ha? Kasi may times the first instinct natin mali. Most of the time, our first instinct answer is the correct answer. So, muna, testing Kung mo answer, purok, testing yun. Kumo yun. Na. Purok 5, kalachotsi. Ay! Sige, anyway, going back. Diba? Basic unit of government, that's barangay. Ay, palagi. Pero what if ganito ang question? What is the basic unit of society? Sige, kani. Diyan mo pag-overthink. Na, masisira talaga ang buhay ninyo. And ang barangay, ang system ng kanilang government. Now, what do you mean by chiefdom? It was ang territory na led by or ang leader kay chief. Parang may kapitan talaga ba? Parang may overall leader sa kanilang mga barangay. And may actually comes from the boats that brought our angay, barangay. So, ang barangay. The name of the list is a datu or raha. Okay? Datu or raha siya. So, is the chieftain ruler Muslim community? Now, question. Ang is or decentralized? Sige now. Centralized or decentralized? Yan. Decentralized means you do not have a national government. Meaning, ang mga barangay, may mga, parang mga own Sila yung mga own world, guys. So, na sila lang kaugalingon kalibutan. They have their own government. Wala pa, hindi pa kasi uso ang national government noon. Nagsimula nung dumating na ang mga I hope. So, nagets natin. Okay? Sige. And how powerful was the dato? Guys, because nasa kanya lahat. Kaya niya magsulat ng bakaso. So, nasa kanya lahat ito. I'm sure problema ito. May magkapitbahay. Ang magkapitbahay ay sina Aubrey at si Tadeus. Oh, si Aubrey at si pangsabong. Siguro. Wala si Aubrey. Isang gabi, ninakaw niya ang iyos, guys. Sabi niya, Ops! Aubrey, bakit mo ninakaw ang manok ko? Never! Mangawat og manok. Pababos! Ano? Ginako pa manok. Ginako ang aking manok. Anong gagawin natin? Sabi na dato, oh, sige, let us prove first if you are innocent or guilty. Hmm. Na wala pa man na yung mga wala pa man na yung mga lawyer sa una, guys, no? So what did the dato do? Sige. Halika dito, Aubrey. Sa loob ng kawali, una, sa loob ng kawali, may kumukulo na dugo. Dugo? Kumukulo na tubig. Ha? Kumukulo ang tubig. And sa gitna, mayroong bato. Ang task ni Aubrey, guys, is, dili mamainit ha. Ang task niya po ay kukunin niya ang bato. Hmm. Kukunin niya ang bato, and then, what? Ang goal is hindi siya dapat mapasok. Ha? Hoy, sorry na-example na dito ka, ma'am, kay ikaw. Ang goal niya, guys, if masugatan siya, that means she is guilty. Hala, ma'am, science is shaking. Because if hindi ka mapasok, guys, if hindi ka masamad, masugatan, you are innocent. Oh, 'di ba? That's it. Ano bang tawag diyan? So, nabida jud ko nimo karong gabi na. Sorry, ma'am, ikaw yung una ko nakita. Mamay una ko nang ana sa chat box. Ano siya tawag, ana? That's the trial by ordeal. Okay? Trial by ordeal ang tawag diyan. So, nga ma'am, ngano ing ana man? Nga mapasok man yun ta. Because they have that belief, guys, that if you really are truly innocent, bathala or the God will side with you. Hindi ka hahayaan na masugatan. 'Di ba? Oo. So, yes, that's right. Oh, same sa mga tibuli. Oh, there was a student before talaga na student ko in Johnson, ni-raise talaga siya sa hand niya and sinabi niya, gi-confirm niya nga that's really part of their practices sa tibuli culture. And there was another one from somewhere sa Johnson to siya, guys. I forgot what tribe was that. Nag-follow sila sa trial by ordeal, but iba ang kanilang style. And pinakita nila talaga ako, Rosa, ano yan? Lie detector test brutal version. Ay nako. Kani wait, Rosalejos kanang the Code of Kalancha was debunked as not true. So, it's not really a good source of facts, no? But eto siya, based on oral traditions and also sa book ni William Henry Scott, oh wait lang, Philippine History, tas light guys this was also discussed yung trial by ordeal. So, ano lang, di ko mo rely on ang Code of Kalanchao because the Code of Kalanchao is fake. It's not true. Anyway, yung isang student ko guys, sabi niya, "Ma'am, na nangyari din 'yan, ang trial by ordeal sa amin, but iba ang way nila." Like may dalawang accused daw, dinala sila sa ilog and then after a ritual, nag-perform a ritual. Akala ko talaga guys no, na joke time lang to niya or hindi, maybe story lang, pero pinakita niya talaga ako ng video. Hindi ko nakuha ang video, sayang. Pero yeah, pinakita niya ako ng video and nilublob yung dalawa sa ilog at yung una daw na aangat, siya yung guilty. Na, di ba? Saan mo na ako eh. O, di ba? Trial by ordeal na siya. Okay? Mm. Sige. This is how, ma'am, of comments ako, base maabot ta sa buhaya karon tama na tong manok. Ay, naku. Ay. Actually, I cannot confirm what are the other practices sa mga tribes, ha? Di ko ma memorize lahat. But there are so many tribes nga nag-iba-iba siya. Mm. How about yung badyang ba yun? Trial by ordeal pa rin yun, ma'am. Makatlan guilty if not guilty. Hindi ako familiar dyan, sir. Pero yeah, if in some way parang mag-go through siya ganito na mga methods, that can be considered trial by ordeal. Okay? That's it. So, that's their form of government. Ma'am Aubrey and Sir Tadeos, thank you sa pagpagamit sa inyong name. Sorry kayo. So, let's go to their economics. Now, economics is, paano ba sila nabuhay? Like, what was their livelihood? Okay? Now, before, wala pa man ng mga negosyo, wala pa man ng online selling sa una, guys. Wala pa man yan yung mga stores, mga tindahan, wala pa. They had this what we called hunting and gathering. Okay. Now, what is hunting and gathering? Ginawa ito ng mga nomads. Okay? Nomads. Basta ka na spelling. Nomads. Ang nomads, nag-hunting and gathering. So, they go from one place to another. Alright? They go from one place to another to look for animals, to look for food. Ba? And, eto talaga yung pinaka-highlight sa pre-colonial system. They had what we call a barter system. Now, kung ang barter system, may money involved ba dito? Guys, may money involved ba ang barter system? Yes or no? No, because barter system is the exchange of goods and services without money involved. So kung ano lang meron nila like gold, salt, rice, ano pa? Marami pa na silang mga products and they just exchanged it. 'Di ba panahon sa COVID nag-barter system mo? 'Di ba? Oh. 'Di ba anong binarter ninyo? May nagbarter ng bigas, ang natanggap delata. May nagbarter ng bulak, nakatanggap rin ng ibang klaseng halaman. Gano'n. Exchange ng item. May iba, nag-alay, nagbigay ng paghigugma, ang nadawat kasakit. Ay. So no money involved na siya ha. That's just barter system. Okay. Now, industry. Ano ba yung nagpaka-busy nila? Or ano ba yung way na para maka-do business or may magamit sila sa pag-trade at sa paglayag? They had iron working. In the term of Teodoro Agoncillo, tinawag sila ng mga panday. Di ba? Panday yan siya. So, mga boat builders, alam niyo ba guys, no? They were master boat builders yun. Lalo na, we are here in the islands, di ba? Malapit talaga tayo sa dagat. We had pottery, ano pa? Weaving, and especially gold working. Guys, as in, Hindi mo talaga yan ma-deny. Maraming gold ang Pilipinas noon pa. O maybe ngayon, hindi na masyado, no? Pero pre-colonial times, we had so much gold. Like, I'm not sure if everyone naka-news, but recent news to siya. Sa Northern Bantayan, Bantayan is somewhere here sa Cebu. Pagkatapos nung bagyo, I think Tino or yung sa recent na uwan, may gold na nakita sila sa baybayin. Ganon ka-rich ang gold dito sa atin, guys, 'di ba? And pre-colonial gold daw 'yon. Ba? Amazing. So, ayun. Tingin-tingin dyan sa mga lugar ninyo, baka maraming gold. Sige, agriculture. Now, this was the time na from nomads, guys, na pa-transfer sila, they were able to learn na magstay in one place. Okay? Agriculture. They learned to stay in one place. Hindi na sila kailangan mag-move from one place to another. When they learned how to plant. Alam na nila paano mag-farming. Alam na nila mag-agriculture, no? So, for example, the best example we have is subsistence farming. Now, mga Soxtad majors, alam nyo to. Alam nyo to, subsistence farming. Nag-discuss na ako sa inyo last Sunday nito. Pero anyway, for the others, subsistence farming means you are just farming for your own family. That's it. Yan ang clue. Hindi ka for the negosyo nagfa-farm. Nag-farm ka for your own family. That's it. Subsistence farming means you are farming for your own family. And some of them, they practice the concept of horticulture. Okay? Ang ginagamit nila is horticulture. Now, it's like a form of so branch pa rin siya ng agriculture, guys, wherein yung mga plants na gipag-grow, it's for food, for medicinal purposes, ganon. Ha? Sige. And finally, trade and commerce, foreign and domestic. O foreign, yung mga Chinese, pumasok sila dito. Oh, that's foreign. Domestic, makipag-trade tayo sa mga kapwa barangay natin. Pero two things nga I want you to focus here lang, guys, ha, basta sa economic. We had a barter system and focus nila was subsistence farming. System and subsistence tistingi. Kung buhay pa tayo, isiga ang mga mata. Idilat ang mga mata. Ang pinaka-sigag mata, mag-top 1 sa board exam. Sige, let's continue. So we're done with the government and economics. Now, in their society sa mga pre-colonial Filipinos or pre-colonial Philippines, they had ranking sa kanilang society. No? There were social ranking. So, hindi ka basta-basta na maging miyembro ng society, na miyembro ng higher part of the society. There was the Dato class. Next, the Maharlika. Next, the Timawa. Hindi yan Timagwa. It's only written as Timagwa, but pronounced as Timawa. And the Alipin. Okay, sige. Recite now. 1, 2, 3, go. Dato class, Maharlika, Timawa, Alipin. Okay. Try to reflect. Kung buhay pa kayo sa panahon na to, saan kaya kayo na belong? Oh, asan ba kayo? Alipin? Dato? O, let's find out. Nasyak ako, mama, pagsigas madami nila gipatol na nag-review. O, bahala nila gipatol nag-review. Basta melpite. Oh, laban niya, ma'am. Kaila. Okay. So, Dato class. Unsa man ang nasa Dato class? That's the ruling class. The leader of the society. Okay? The leader of the society, you are here sa Dato class. So ikaw, if ikaw ang mayor sa inyong lugar ngayon, o ikaw ba ang congressman sa lugar na pumunta sa London, char lang, Dato class ka na belong. Ay, sige alipin ang pag-ibig mo, So, dato class or the ruling class, ang mga leaders sa society. Okay? Now, Maharlika class. Now, ang Maharlika class were known as the aristocracy. Bibilong actually yung mga warriors o mga warriors na mga Maharlika rin yan sila. So, aristocracy, mayayaman and mga warriors. So, mayayaman in what way? Guys, maraming nakakabit-kabit na gold sa katawan nila. Marami silang mga yuta, marami silang mga lupa. Hmm. Oh, guys, sino ba dito maraming lupa? Sige be, dito sa chat box, sa mga branches, sino dito ang mga mayayaman sa mga branch ninyo na may mga gold earrings, gold necklace, gold rings, gold talaga. Oh, hindi gold ang ipin ha, gold. Na nagtulo-tulo sa gold jud at maraming lupa. Dili lupa sa kuko ha. Lupa as in land. Lupa sa sako. Oh. Maharlika, anak ng kontraktor. Correct. So, muna sila guys, mga mayayaman. That's the Maharlika. Mm. O, Cynthia Villar. O, dito na si ma'am. Diri na si madam. Mm. So far, no, recommend dyan na bilong. Di hadapita. Oy. O. So, next, let's have the Timawa. Now, kaning mga Timawa, guys, no, itong mga Timawa, saks lang. Sakto-sakto lang sila nabubuhay. Hindi sila gutom, hindi rin sila super busog. Hindi rin wala silang maraming lupa, like isang lupa lang or once in a while meron silang wow na nina, sakto lang, saks lang, no? May bahay, may pagkain, may damit. That's the common class. Okay? Mhm. That's the common class or the timawa. So, pero ang pinakababa talaga sa society, what's this? The alipin. O, di ba? Alipin. So, alipin guys, or kung sa Bisaya, ang tawag namin ito is ulipon or uripon. They are the dependent class. So, kung ang timawa, ang common class, etong alipin is the dependent. Why kanahimong alipin? You became an alipin because number one, meron kang hutang. Utang. Nagkautang-utang ka pero hindi ka nakabayad. Oh, that is, ano man, pwede ka maging alipin nung inutangan mo. Gawin kang alipin niya. 'Di ba? O ngayon guys, if nangutang ka, ang nangutang pa, ang isog kaayo. Sila pa yung may audacity na magagalit pag singilin mo na. Ako'y alipin mo kahit hindi batid. Char. Kahit tungod wala ka bayad sa hutang. And we had two types of alipin. We have two types of alipin. We have aliping na mamahay at aliping sa gigilid. Now, what's aliping na mamahay? From the word bahay. Okay? The word bahay, meaning to say, this alipin has his own house. So, antay lang siya pag tatawagin siya ng kanyang amo. Oh, in other words, stay out. Hoy, si titay. Kamo ba? Basher kay mo ni titay ba? So, stay out. To siya na helper. Antay lang siya na tatawagin siya. 'Di ba? Next, aliping sa gigilid o mga nasa gedli lang nakatira. O legit sa gedli. Sa gedli ng bahay ng kanilang amo. So, meaning nasa bahay talaga siya ng amo. Doon sa may abuhan kung saan nagluluto, no? Doon sila nakatira. So, 8 from the master spot and they are there 24/7. So, ayun, aliping sa gigilid. Nasa gedli-gedli lang siya. Pero guys, actually no, may ikatlo pa na alipin. Ang ikatlo na alipin, alipin sa kanyang ngiti at yakap. Ay! Joke lang, Aliping namamahay, that is stay out on call. Aliping sa gigilid, that's stay in. Stay in na siya. Pagulat mo kung kanus mo pa iba. That's it. That is alipin, guys. Nagets na na to? Okay. That's it. So, sige be, let's review. Let's review. If you are part of the ruling class, ano yan? Datu class. Pag aristocracy, maharlika. Pag common class, timawa. Pag dependent class, alipin. Kapuya ka mamatagati kag manok. Salamat, Sir Tadeos. Ano ba yung dalawang alipin? Aliping namamahay at aliping sa gigilid. Okay. Sige, everybody inhale. Exhale. Alright. So, sige guys, tapusin lang natin to ang pre-colonial period and then we will have another 5-minute break. Sige. So, di ba, ang dami nating nalaman about sa culture ng pre-colonial Filipinos. But how did we learn about their culture? Because of an anonymous 16th century manuscript. Guys, anonymous meaning hindi talaga alam sinong nagsulat nito. It's known as the Boxer Codex. Okay? Ang Boxer Codex po, yung anonymous 16th century manuscript. Actually guys, yung nakalagay dyan sa handouts ninyo, isang parte lang yan ng kultura nila. But there are still hundreds. Like, I had a book, meron akong Boxer Codex noon. Gusto ko sana ipakita, but wala kasing e-book nito online. I don't know saan ko na yun nilagay. Basta, I have a copy of the Boxer Codex. Pagbukas mo kasi sa Boxer Codex, gidiscuss doon what were the cultures of the pre-colonial Filipinos and then may drawing talaga on how they looked like. So, it's translated na to English. Pwede nyo nga to mabili sa Shopee. Nasa Shopee to. Pero may isa doon guys na nagsabi, only men were qualified the title of dato. Okay? Only men were qualified for the title of dato. So question, bakit ba tinawag itong Boxer Codex? Bakit? Kay tungod boxer, ang lalaki, nagsuot ang lalaki o boxer? Ha? O pwede rin nyo yan gamitin as like kanang parang mnemonics. Okay, like a mnemonics. Like, boxer. O sino bang nagsusuot ng boxer? Lalaki. Lalaki ra ang pwede madato. Pero guys, why is it named Boxer Codex? It's because pinangalan ito sa nag-own sa manuscript ngayon. And that is Dr. Charles Boxer. Yan. That is the name of the owner of the manuscript right now. At siya rin yung parang nag-translate, isa sa mga nag-translate ito at nag-study. That's Dr. Charles Boxer. Okay? So, again, the anonymous, hindi natin alam sino talaga nagsulat nito. Pero yung nag-translate, na buhay pa nga ngayon, as far as I know, it's Dr. Charles Boxer. Siya po yung nag-own ngayon sa manuscript. Okay? So one more time, the anonymous 16th century manuscript na nagsasabi na lalaki lang ang pwede maging dato, Boxer Codex. Okay? Sige, one last part guys and we will have our break time. Sige, now, education. Now, sa panahon sa pre-colonial Filipinos, they already had education, guys. Hindi lang yan sa panahon sa Espanyol. Pero here's a question. Lumabas ito sa board exam noon. What is the oldest writing system in the Philippines? It's baybayin. Okay, baybayin talaga ang answer natin for the board exam. I know may complicated answers pa nito guys, but again, for board exam purposes, i-simplify na lang natin. Ma'am, just curious po, anong reliable man siya po, even though questionable ang author kay Anonymous? Hindi talaga siya anonymous. Like, maybe somewhere in time, alam nila sino yung author, but it got lost in history. Kasi gi-order man siya sa King of Spain, nagawan ng description sa mga pre-colonial Filipinos. And it's also reliable. And at the same time, nag-relate din siya sa ibang studies or ibang books about the pre-colonial Philippines. So parang nagtugma siya. So, hindi lang kasi yan lang ang source natin. Later on, may mga ibang sources na nag-confirm din dun. So, kaya ngayon, guys, meron na talagang translation for that because it's very important para ma-preserve ang memory natin sa pre-colonial Philippines. Okay? Mm. Pero, what if, ma'am, sa choices, walang baybayin? You look for alibata. Okay? That's it. So, baybayin, alibata. Look for alibata. So, what if, kanina, ma'am, what if ang dalawa na nandun sa choices, baybayin ang iprayo nga answer? Guys, ha? Prioritize the baybayin answer. Gets? Gets. Okay. Sige. Again, what is the oldest writing system of the Philippines? Baybayin. Pag walang baybayin, alibata. Pag nandyan ang dalawa, baybayin ang iprayo. Good. So, education sa pre-colonial, was it informal or formal? Informal po siya. Why? Through apprenticeship. Kay skills ang gamit nila, guys. They want to ang pinag-aralan, hindi pa quiz, hindi pa sila mag-quiz. Wala pa sila board exam, wala, guys. They want to survive. No, they want to survive, so they have survival skills ang pinag-aaralan nila. Then maraming mga iba't ibang tasks na gagawin. May mga domestic chores and mga practical occupation like hunting and farming para sa mga lalaki daw, no? So, mga chores, so it's for the girls daw, and for the boys, o mga occupational skills like farming and hunting. Okay? Pero ngayon, dapat ba ganyan lang? Babae lang ang nasa bahay, tapos ang lalaki lang ang nagtatrabaho? Yes or no? No. Kahit ang lalaki, guys, pwede man na nandyan sa bahay. Tapos ang babae, anong ginagawa sa babae? Nang hunting.